Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where this time we're going to be taking a look at 10 Star Wars shows that haven't happened but should happen, whether that be in animation or live action. And we're going to start with number 10 being a show about Count Dooku and Qui-gon Jinn as master and apprentice. We got a little taste of this in Tales of the Jedi. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal content. A lot of stories to be told there. Would love to see Qui-Gon kind of grow into being the wise Jedi Master that he becomes. Kind of diverging away from the pitfalls of the dogmatic views of the Jedi. So that's my number 10. Number 9 is going to be a show about Darth Sidious and Darth Plagueis, master and apprentice style. So you have kind of the Sith equivalent. Just Plagueis has been so underutilized in canon. I think young Palpatine is, would be phenomenal content. And there's a lot to explore there. You have the Plagueis novel that you could use as kind of an inspiration or a base. Just in general, a lot during that time period they could really dive deep into. Would love to see more of the Sith. And I think this is a popular show that a lot of people would want to see. Hopefully they could do it justice if it was something they decided to do. But Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious, Master and Apprentice, that's going to be number 9 on my list. Number 8 is actually going to be a show about the Stormtroopers. I think kind of how the Clone Wars animated series developed the clones and their personalities. It would be interesting to kind of see the Empire side of things with the Stormtroopers, even past the clones being phased out and them just being normal people. I think it would be really cool to see, what led a lot of these men to joining the Empire. Yeah. Number 7. One of my favorite all-time Star Wars books is Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. And ton of creatures, ton of stories, a ton of really unique and bizarre and interesting characters. I think doing a show, maybe anthology style, with different patrons of the Cantina would be really cool. You could get a lot more backstory, maybe tie some of their stories together into what led to them being in the Cantina that day that, Luke and Obi-Wan met Han and Chewie, and from what we see in the movie. Or you could even go further into the future or further into the past with it, have different bartenders, but a lot of potential there. Number 6 of a show I'd like to see is going to be a General Grievous origin story as a Kaleesh warrior. I think some of the material we have gotten in Legends with that is really cool. General Grievous, one of the coolest characters from the prequel era, and he was definitely not one of the best parts of the Clone Wars animated series, but I think they have an opportunity to do him justice by displaying his origin story in a show, whether it be animated or live action. You could maybe do something horror with it, but a lot of potential there. Number 5 is actually going to be, imagine a almost wildlife documentary style of show, but with the different creatures of Star Wars. You could go from planet to planet and have all these different creatures, introduce new ones that haven't been seen, give some insight into ones that we have seen in the galaxy. I think it's something that would really expand upon the universe that we have, kind of dive into detail about some of the things that we've seen. So It's an interesting one. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think people would be excited to learn more about the different alien creatures and the different fauna and flora of all these lush planets. So next up, whether it be a movie, a trilogy, animated, they've got to do something with the Old Republic. I mean, the Old Republic is such an iconic time period. In a way, I'm kind of glad they haven't touched it so that, they haven't messed it up. But I would love to see, those characters, that time period really come to life. I think it's something they've rarely touched upon in a long time. And like I said, there's unlimited potential. I think maybe the best route to go would be live action, but you could go all kind of different directions with it. So all right, next up I'm gonna go into doing a what if style, preferably animated, of Star Wars. Maybe see what could have happened at certain points in the timeline, if different decisions had been made, if different characters were on different sides. I think there's definitely a market for that. I think the Marvel what ifs have been really cool, but as far as Star Wars, just imagine like Obi-Wan Kenobi on the dark side, or if Anakin never fell. Pretty good stuff. Next up's going to be a Luke Skywalker series. I think this is begging to be done. I think we got a taste of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 2. I think that only leads to people wanting more. I really hope they do decide to go forward with it. Mark Hamill is getting up there in age, and the digital de-aging technology is expensive, so I would understand if they went a more animated route with it, but I do think they got to do more with Luke Skywalker. I think, it's one of the most iconic characters of Star Wars. You can't really go wrong with it, so really hope that that's something they can do in the future. And lastly, and we're not talking about High Republic Yoda specifically, but a young Yoda series. How did Yoda come to be as a young man in the Order? How did he get to the point of being this elder grand Jedi master? That's something we haven't really seen a whole lot of. Besides the High Republic stuff, which, not a fan, but Yoda for who he is. I mean, he's the Jedi Grand Master. Gotta have a backstory. I'm not saying they gotta divulge all the information and reveal his species, but I think it'd be pretty cool just to see more of Yoda and how he built the Jedi Order into what we see today. So yeah, that's gonna be all I got for you this time. I appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, drop a like. As always, may the Force be with you. Let's blow up that like button and go home.